What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Oak Tree Football channel. The NFL draft is less than a week away, so I decided to do a mock draft. This one is going to be a bit longer than the other one I did because today I will be doing the first 3 rounds. Before we get into the video, I just want to point out that over 83% of the viewers on this channel aren't subscribed, so if you haven't yet subscribed and enjoy the content, feel free to do so. Now let's get right into it. With the first pick, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. Their pick is basically a lock at this point, and I can't see them taking anyone other than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the number 1 quarterback in this draft class, and with the Bengals probably moving on from Andy Dalton, this pick makes a lot of sense. I don't think the Bengals will trade down, and they would be stupid to not take Burrow. At number 2, Washington is on the clock. I think they will get trade offers, but I feel like it is also a lock at this point that they won't be able to resist to take Chase Young. Edge isn't the biggest position of need for Washington, but bringing in a guy like Chase Young will give them a top D-line in the league. Young is the best defensive player in the draft, and he might even be the best player overall. At number 3, we have our first trade. I have the Miami Dolphins trading up 2 spots so they can draft the quarterback of their future, Tega. I expect the Chargers to try and trade for this pick, but I think the Lions will accept the Dolphins' offer. They trade away another one of their first-round picks to get the quarterback of their future. Tagovailoa has an injury history, but he's too talented for the Dolphins not to take him. At number 4, the Giants are on the clock. There are a few positions they could go with this pick, but I think Dave Gettleman will decide to go with offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs. If I was in charge of the Giants, I would take Isaiah Simmons, but I expect Dave Gettleman to take an offensive tackle. I could also see the Giants taking Jedrick Wills with this pick, but Wirfs is the best offensive tackle in the draft in my opinion. After they traded down, the Lions are on the clock at pick number 5. Matt Patricia is under heavy pressure this season, and if they don't improve, he will most likely be fired. That is why they feel an immediate need in cornerback and draft Jeff Okudah. Okudah will be a day 1 starter for Detroit. I've predicted this pick for a long time now, and now that the Lions traded Darius Slay, it feels like it's a lock to happen. The Lions signed Desmond Trufant, but that doesn't mean they won't take Okudah to help out on defense. The Chargers are on the clock at pick number 6. They couldn't trade up to get Tua, but they shouldn't be too upset to still be able to take Justin Herbert at 6th overall. Unless they sign Cam Newton, bringing in Herbert to eventually become the starter is the right pick for the Chargers. He could be a day 1 starter, or he could be a backup for a season before he starts to play. Herbert is similar to Phillip Rivers, but of course Herbert's a lot younger, and he can be their quarterback for years to come. The Panthers are on the clock at pick number 7, and they will be happy that Clemson linebacker/safety Isaiah Simmons will be available for them with this pick. Simmons will be the replacement for Luke Kuechly, and even though he isn't the traditional linebacker, that doesn't make him any worse. Simmons is an unbelievable athlete, and the fact that he can also play safety will make this an even better pick for the Panthers. At pick number 8, I have the Falcons trading up 8 spots from 16 to 8 with the Cardinals so they can draft the cornerback of their future, C.J. Henderson. The Falcons need a cornerback, and there has been recent rumors that C.J. Henderson will be drafted in the top 10, so the Falcons trade up to get him. Henderson is a great man-to-man corner and will probably be a day 1 starter for Atlanta. The Jaguars are on the clock at pick number 9, and they have a lot of holes to fill. I think them trading away Nick Foles means they trust Gardner Minshew, and they could draft a wide receiver to help him here, but I expect them to draft defensive tackle Derrick Brown. I think cornerback is a bigger hole for the Jags, but Derrick Brown is too good to resist. He will be the replacement for Calais Campbell, and it will probably be a day 1 starter. With the 10th pick, I can't see the Browns getting anyone other than an offensive lineman, and at this point, I think they'll take Jedrick Wills Jr. The Browns need to protect Baker Mayfield, and Wills will be one of the best players to help do it. They could also take Andrew Thomas or Mekhi Becton with this pick, but Wills seems like the best player. The Jets are on the clock at pick 11, and they are in kind of an interesting situation. They have their franchise quarterback, and with this pick, I expect them to either protect him or give him someone to throw to. With this pick, I have the Jets taking Oklahoma receiver CeeDee Lamb. Lamb is arguably the best receiver in the draft, and getting him at pick 11 will be ideal for the Jets. The Jets have one of the worst receiving corps, if not the worst receiving corps in the NFL, so this would be a big help. Of course, they could take an offensive tackle, but if a guy like CeeDee Lamb is available, they need to take him to help out Sam Darnold now that Robbie Anderson left. The Las Vegas Raiders have 2 first-round picks, and with the first one, I'm pretty sure they'll take a wide receiver. I think their favorite is still on the board, so I expect the Raiders to take Jerry Jeudy. I think the Raiders prefer Jeudy over Lamb and Ruggs, and bringing him in will be very good. I think if Derek Carr plays poorly this season, the Raiders will draft someone early in the next year's draft, so Judy's going to be a big help for them. They signed Nelson Agholor, who isn't the most trustworthy receiver. Trust me, I know, I'm an Eagles fan. Pairing Jeudy and Hunter Renfrow will be a good duo for Las Vegas this season. At pick number 13, I have the Eagles trading up with the 49ers. I expect the 49ers to trade one of their first-round picks since they don't have a second or a third-round pick. The Eagles will be worried that 2 of the best wide receivers have already been taken, and they might not be able to get one of the best in the class, so they trade up to draft speedster out of Alabama, Henry Ruggs. Receiver is one of the biggest holes for the Eagles. They also need cornerback and linebacker, but they need an elite receiver, and Ruggs can be that guy. He has elite speed, and the Eagles will find multiple ways to use him on the offense. The Bucs signed Tom Brady, who isn't what he used to be, but he is surrounded by weapons who can help him play great, but they still need an offensive line, and Andrew Thomas is one of the best available. Thomas has been falling a lot in draft boards, but he shouldn't go any lower than this. The Bucs don't have a consistent offensive line, and if they want to protect Brady, they're going to need someone very solid. The Broncos want a receiver to help Drew Lock do what he started last year, and even though the top 3 have already been taken, they will be happy to get an elite route runner in Justin Jefferson. Jefferson had a great season in college football last season, and the Broncos shouldn't be mad to get him with this pick. The Broncos' offense has improved this offseason, and Jefferson will help out with that. The Cardinals are on the clock at pick number 16 after trading down earlier, and a few weeks ago I would have expected them to get a wide receiver with this pick, but since they traded for DeAndre Hopkins, I think they'll take an offensive tackle. I expect that tackle to be Mekhi Becton. The Cardinals have a hole at right tackle, and they'll be able to fill that with Becton. Becton is arguably one of the best tackles in this class, and the Cardinals will be happy to get him at pick number 16. The Cowboys are on the clock at pick number 17, and they lost Byron Jones this offseason and could take a cornerback with this pick, but they also need an edge rusher, and Kayvon Chaisson is one of the best available. Chaisson is a great edge rusher, and he'll fall right to the Cowboys at pick number 17. Chaisson is coming off a big year at LSU, and he's hoping he can continue that into the NFL. With their other pick, the Dolphins drafted the quarterback of their future, so now they'll take the guy who can help protect him. With the 18th pick, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Josh Jones. When they traded up, the Dolphins traded away their 3rd first-round pick, so they need to take offensive line now. Josh Jones is the best tackle available, and tackle is one of their biggest needs, so this pick makes a lot of sense. The Raiders are on the clock at pick number 19, and there are multiple players they could go with here. I've seen some mock drafts where they take a linebacker, but they just signed Corey Littleton, who should be good for now. That's why I think that they should help out on the secondary and draft Christian Fulton. Cornerback is a weak point for the Raiders, but Fulton being paired up with last year's draft pick Trayvon Mullen will be a solid duo for them this season and in the future. The Jaguars are on the clock at pick number 20, and with their first pick, they didn't draft someone at their biggest need, which is cornerback, so they go with that right now and take Trayvon Diggs. The Jags traded away their 2 best cornerbacks in the past few months, so they need to address that position. Diggs is coming off a pretty good season for Alabama, and he will probably be a day 1 starter for Jacksonville. The 49ers traded down with the Eagles earlier, so they'll now be on the clock at pick number 21. I think they want a receiver, but since they traded DeForest Buckner, they won't be able to resist on getting his replacement in Javon Kinlaw. Kinlaw is very talented and could be drafted earlier, but in this mock I have him falling to number 21. This isn't the biggest position of need for the 49ers, but they should know that there will still be good receivers when they pick at 31, so they can take one of the better defensive linemen in this year's draft. The Vikings are on the clock at number 22, and I think they will take a replacement for the player they traded to get this pick, Stephon Diggs. That is why I think the Vikings will draft Baylor receiver Denzel Mims. Mims is a very talented receiver and will fit well with the Vikings. He has got speed and pretty good hands. He still has some parts of his game that he should improve at, but he should be a solid player for Minnesota. The Patriots are on the clock at pick number 23. Some people would expect the Patriots to take Jordan Love here, but I think they trust Jarrett Stidham and maybe take a quarterback later in the draft. One of the biggest positions of need is tight end, and that is why I think they'll take Cole Kmet with this pick. You could definitely see the difference with the Patriots offense after Gronk retired. That's why they need to get a tight end, and Kmet is a really talented one. Whoever will be playing quarterback for the Patriots next season will probably play a lot better if they have a solid tight end. The Saints are on the clock at pick number 24, and they don't have as many holes to fill as some other teams do, but one of their only ones is linebacker. They have the choice of Kenneth Murray or the player who I think they'll choose, Patrick Queen. In my opinion, Queen is the second best linebacker in the draft, and the Saints will be happy to get him at pick number 24. Like I said, the Saints really don't have any big holes, but if they could improve at one thing, I think it should be linebacker. The Minnesota Vikings are back on the clock at pick number 25, and I expect them to draft someone on defense. I think a big help would be someone in the secondary, and I think they'll take safety Xavier McKinney. McKinney is a safety which the Vikings need, but they will also be able to slot him in at cornerback, which will be a big help seeing as the Vikings lost 3 of their best cornerbacks from last season. The Lions are back on the clock at pick 26 after they traded down with the Miami Dolphins earlier. I think they want to keep solidifying their defense, so they will take defensive tackle Ross Blacklock. The Lions filled their biggest need earlier, so now they will fill their second biggest with the best player available in that position. At 27th overall, the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. They have a few positions of need, but one of the biggest is an edge rusher, and I think they have the choice of AJ Epineza or the player I think they'll take, Yetur Gross-Matos. Without Jadeveon Clowney, the Seahawks really need an edge rusher, and I think they prefer Gross-Matos over AJ Epineza. He will probably start for them next season. The Ravens are on the clock at pick number 28. I think the Ravens will take either linebacker in the first round and receiver in the second, or the other way around. And with this pick, I think they will take linebacker Kenneth Murray. Like I said, the Ravens could go linebacker or receiver here, but I think they will just take the best player available at either of those two positions, which in this case is Kenneth Murray. At pick number 29, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. There are a few needs on the team, and with this pick, I think they'll take edge AJ Epineza. Edge isn't the biggest need for the Titans, but Epineza is a very talented player, and the Titans would be happy to pick him up late in the first round. The Packers are on the clock at pick number 30, and I feel like they'll take a wide receiver. They could take T. Higgins, or they could take the player I think they will get, Jalen Reagor. Reagor has become one of my favorite receivers in the class. He's speedy and very explosive, but also has great hands. His 2019 season wasn't as good as his 2018 one, but he can return kicks and even run the ball. He can do lots of different things all over the field, and I think he would be a great fit for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers will love having someone like Reagor on the offense. The 49ers are back on the clock at pick number 31, and since they passed on a receiver earlier, I think they will get the best one available here, which is T. Higgins. I'm pretty sure the 49ers will take a receiver in the first round, and at this point, T. Higgins is the best one available. His stock dropped a bit at the Combine, but he will become the replacement for Emmanuel Sanders this season. With the final pick in the first round, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. There are multiple positions the Chiefs could improve at, but there is one they need as soon as possible, and that position is cornerback. I think the Chiefs will take cornerback Jeff Gladney with this pick. Gladney is one of the best cornerbacks still available, so it makes sense that the Chiefs take him with this pick. He can play man or zone, which will help a lot for the Chiefs on defense. We're done with the first round, so now let's get into the second. I'm not going to go as in-depth with these picks, but I'll still give some reasons why. With the 33rd pick, I have the Bengals taking offensive tackle Austin Jackson. The Bengals lock up their starting quarterback for the future. Now they got to help protect him. Austin Jackson is one of the best offensive tackles available. The Colts are on the clock at pick 34. They need to bolster their receivers, and Brandon Ayuk is one of the best available. He should fit good with the Colts next season. The Lions are on the clock at pick number 35. The Lions, their first two picks were both defense, and I think they're going to go Terrell Lewis here, another defensive player, because Matt Matt Patricia is a defensive-minded coach. He was the defensive coordinator with the Patriots, of course. I think they'll go just keep trying to make that defense better. The Giants are on the clock at pick number 36. I think they'll also take an edge rusher in Curtis Weaver. Weaver's really talented, and the Giants need an edge pretty bad, so that pick makes a lot of sense. The Chargers are on the clock. If the Chargers don't take a quarterback in the first round and Isaiah Simmons is still on the board, I think they'll probably take Isaiah Simmons. But since they didn't get a linebacker in the first round, Zach Bond is the best available and they pick here, so they take him. The Panthers are on the clock at pick number 38. A defensive tackle would be a big help for them, so they get the best available here with Neville Gallimore. At number 39, the Dolphins are on the clock, and I have them getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think the Dolphins will definitely take a running back with this pick, but I have them taking Helaire over Swift because I just feel like, especially if Tagovailoa plays, Helaire would be a lot better to have on the team. He could probably play sooner, in my opinion, than Swift could. He can catch. He's elusive. Joe Burrow called him the best player he's ever played with, so I think he's who the Dolphins go with here. The Texans traded away their first-round pick, so they're on the clock for the first time in the second. And I think they'll take Julian Okwara, the edge rusher. They never really replaced Jadeveon Clowney. Okwara is one of the better edge rushers in this class, in my opinion, so it'll be a pretty good pick, getting him at number 40. The Browns, at pick number 41, I have them taking Grant Delpit from LSU. Grant Delpit is arguably the best safety in the class, and he should not go this low, but I really think he will. He was injured a bit this season at LSU, and the Browns will be happy to get him. He'll be a steal at pick number 41. The Jaguars are on the clock at pick number 42, and I have them taking wide receiver Laviska Shenault. Shenault's one of my favorite receivers in this class, and really he can play all over the place for whoever he gets drafted by. Jacksonville, I've seen some mocks where they get a wide receiver in the first round. I don't really believe that, but I think they could definitely get one in the second round because Gardner Minshew is going to need help if they can be good this season. The Chicago Bears are on the clock at pick number 43, and for me, if there's anything they really need to improve on, it's the secondary, and with this pick I have them taking safety Antoine Winfield Jr. Winfield is talented, and I think he'll go somewhere around this area. And right now, I think the Bears will be the ones to take him. The Colts are on the clock for the second time in the second round, and I have them taking quarterback Jordan Love here. Jordan Love could be a first-round pick, but I don't really see any team that'll take him. The Colts, they have Brissett as their backup, and they signed Phillip Rivers, but Brissett didn't have the best season last year, and Phillip Rivers is like 38 years old, and he's not going to be there for that much longer. The Buccaneers are on the clock at pick 45. I have them taking running back DeAndre Swift. The Buccaneers on the offense, their offense is very good. The only thing they really need is running back and offensive line. They got offensive line in the first round. Now they get running back here. Arguably the best running back in the draft. He should fit good in that offense. The Broncos are at number 46, and I have them taking cornerback A.J. Terrell from Clemson. They could also take a cornerback in the first round, but I just think wide receiver is a bigger position of need for them. They'd rather get wide receiver, but they still get a solid cornerback with this pick. The Cardinals have pick number 47 because of a trade with the Falcons, and they take edge rusher Josh Uche. The edge is one of the biggest positions of need for the Cardinals, and Uche is one of the best that's left at this point. It makes a lot of sense, this pick. The Jets, at number 48, I have them taking Ezra Cleveland. I could see Cleveland going higher than this. He's pretty solid. But the Jets, they're either going to go wide receiver in the first round and offensive tackle in the second, or the other way around. CeeDee Lamb was too good for them to pass up on in the first round, so now they get a solid offensive tackle here. The Steelers are on the clock for the first time, and they take interior offensive lineman Cesar Ruiz. Roethlisberger is coming off a bad injury, and they're going to need to protect him this season. Ruiz is, in my opinion, the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. The Bears are on the clock for the second time in the second round on pick number 50, and I have them taking offensive tackle Lucas Niang. Whoever's going to be playing quarterback for the Bears next season, they're going to have to protect him. and that's exactly what they do with this pick. The Cowboys are on the clock at pick number 51, and I would not be surprised if they took a cornerback in the first round, but I had them taking Caleb Chase on, so they get a cornerback here. Jalen Johnson, in my opinion, is a first-round talent. He's really, really good, and if he drops here, the Cowboys have to get him because he's very talented. The Rams are on the clock at pick number 52, and I've been taking Lloyd Cushenberry III, also an interior offensive lineman. Cushenberry, well, the Rams just need offensive line, interior, just all-around offensive line, really. And Cushenberry is one of the best interior offensive linemen left. They could use an interior offensive lineman. With the 53rd pick, I have the 49ers taking Noah Igbinoghene. He's a cornerback. The 49ers acquired this pick from the Eagles trade, by the way. He's a cornerback. I didn't have the 49ers taking a cornerback in the first round. So I think they're going to take a cornerback in either the first or second round. He's one of the best available at this point. They take him. He should be good paired up with Richard Sherman. The Bills are on the clock. I've been taking also a cornerback, Damon Arnett from Ohio State. He's pretty solid. He's not as good as maybe some of the other cornerbacks, but I don't think the Bills should be too upset with getting him. The Ravens are on the clock at pick number 55, and I've been taking Chase Claypool, the receiver. Like I said earlier, the Ravens are either going to take linebacker in the first round, receiver in the second, or other way around. And they took linebacker in the first round. Claypool is one of the best receivers available at this point, and really I think that's how the Ravens are going to draft. They're just going to look at their biggest position of need and draft the best player in that position. The Lions are on the clock at pick 56. They got this pick from the trade with the Dolphins, and this is the first time I don't have them taking someone on defense. I've been taking Isaiah Wilson, the offensive tackle. They're going to need to strengthen up the offensive line, and Isaiah Wilson should be able to help out with that. Not sure if he'll be a starter immediately, but eventually they should try and get him some game time. Rams are on the clock again. I've been taking Malik Harrison, the linebacker. They lost Corey Littleton, who, in my opinion, is a very talented linebacker, so they get his replacement here. They could also take a running back here because they got rid of Todd Gurley, but I think they should be able to get a solid running back in the third round, so they'll just take a linebacker. The Vikings are on the clock at pick number 58. They take edge rusher Jonathan Greenard. I'm pretty sure the Vikings will take an edge rusher, help bolster the defensive line, and Greenard is a very solid one. And this pick makes a lot of sense. Seahawks on the clock at pick number 59, and they really, really, really need to help Russell Wilson. And the first step of doing that is giving him an offensive line. And that's why I haven't taken Tyler Biadasz, the interior offensive lineman. He's pretty solid. He's fallen a bit in draft boards recently. But he's a pretty solid player. And he could be good for Seattle. I would not be surprised if he played well. At pick number 60, the Ravens are back on the clock. And I've been taking also an interior offensive lineman, Netane Mutai. Mutai is pretty talented. And the Ravens will be happy to get him late in the second round. Titans are on the clock at pick number 61. They traded away Jarrell Casey. Here they get his replacement in Marlon Davidson. He's solid. I don't know if he'll be a starter, but he should get some game time for the Titans this season. The Packers are on the clock, and I'm getting a linebacker. They did sign Christian Kirksey, which may make so they won't take a linebacker, but I still kind of think they will take a linebacker. I don't think they'll take a linebacker in the first round, but in the second round, Willie Gay Jr., I think. 2 more picks left. 63rd overall, the Kansas City Chiefs are here, and I have been taking running back Jonathan Taylor. I took some notes on Jonathan Taylor after watching his film, and really, one thing I said was any run can be a big one, because Jonathan Taylor can just break anything off. Adding someone as explosive as him into the Chiefs' offense will just be deadly. And already with the best quarterback in the league, one of the best wide receivers in Tyreek Hill, and then adding a really good running back, their offense is going to be scary next season. And final pick in the second round, I have the Seattle Seahawks taking wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. Like I said, the Seahawks need to give Russell Wilson some help. Last year, they drafted DK Metcalf, with the final pick in the second round. So now with the final pick in the second round, they take Michael Pittman. That's gonna be their wide receiver duo for a few years in the future. It could be solid, and pairing them up it could be very good, especially in the future. I think Pittman's very talented. So now let's get into the third round, the last round I'm going to be doing in this video. With the 65th pick, I have the Bengals taking wide receiver KJ Hamler from Penn State. KJ Hamler is a really talented receiver. I think the Bengals, especially now with a rookie quarterback, they're going to try and get some help on their receivers. KJ Hamler is a really solid one, and they'll be happy to get him in the third round. The Redskins at pick number 66, I'm taking offensive tackle Prince Tega Wahogho from Auburn. They really need to protect Haskins. Haskins did not have the best season. If they wanted to play well, they're going to need to help protect them. This is a way to do that. Lions are on the clock at pick number 67. I've been taking running back J.K. Dobbins. I could see them getting a running back. Kerryon Johnson, he got injured this season, but he still hasn't been that productive in his career, and I still expect him to be the starter, but J.K. Dobbins is very talented, and the Lions, I think if J.K. Dobbins is on the board, they have to pick him up. The Jets at number 68, I've been taking cornerback Bryce Hall. This is also a big hole for the Jets. The Jets have a lot of holes, and Bryce Hall is very solid. Pick number 69, I also have the Panthers taking a cornerback. I've been taking Cameron Dantzler from Mississippi State. They also need a cornerback. They need help on a lot of different parts of their defense. Cornerback is one of those parts. And Dantzler is one of the best at this point. Dolphins at pick number 70. I've been taking Matt Pert, the offensive tackle from UConn. I really, in the later rounds, after the first few rounds, I just think the Dolphins are just going to get a bunch of offensive linemen because they need offensive linemen so bad. They need to protect whoever's going to be playing quarterback next season, probably Ryan Fitzpatrick, but they need to protect them. At pick number 71, I have the Chargers taking offensive tackle Jack Driscoll from Auburn. The Chargers also need to protect whoever's going to play quarterback for them next season, whether it be Tyrod Taylor or whoever they draft or even Cam Newton. They're going to need to protect him. Jack Driscoll is a solid offensive tackle. Cardinals at pick number 72, I've been taking defensive tackle Raekwon Davis. Davis is really solid, and I think it'll be a steal if the Cardinals can get him this late. Pick number 73, I have the Jaguars getting safety Jeremy Chin. Chin could definitely go a lot higher than this, but in this mock I'm falling a bit. The Jaguars need a safety. Jeremy Chin is very solid, so they won't be mad getting him. Pick number 74, the Browns. I've been taking Justin Madubuike from Texas A&M. They need help on that defensive line. Madubuike can help out on that. Pick number 75, the Indianapolis Colts. I've been taking tight end Hunter Bryant. Hunter Bryant is one of the best tight ends in this year's draft, and the Colts could use some help at that position since they got rid of Eric Ebron in free agency. And I wouldn't be surprised if they took a tight end in the second or third round, probably third round. And Hunter Bryant's very solid. So, pick number 76, I have the Buccaneers taking Jacob Eason, the quarterback from Washington. I know that they signed Tom Brady, of course, but it's a 43-year-old Tom Brady. They're going to need a backup quarterback and eventually become the starter. I mean, I don't know if Eason will eventually become the starter, but they're going to at least need a backup because Brady's 43, and Eason is a solid quarterback. Number 77, I have the Broncos taking interior offensive lineman Matt Hennessy from Temple. They need to protect Drew Lock. That's what they do with this pick. Falcons, pick number 78. I have them taking a linebacker, Troy Dye from Oregon. I really like Troy Dye. I think he should fit well with the Falcons. Pick number 79, the Jets grab wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan. I already said the Jets have an absolutely terrible receiving core, and they're just going to keep bolstering it with this pick. And then now I have two straight Raiders picks. The first one I've been taking defensive tackle Jordan Elliott from Missouri. I could see him going a lot higher, but I have him falling, and the Raiders will be happy to get him. And then the Raiders again at pick 81. Interior offensive lineman Jonah Jackson is who I have been getting. They're going to need to protect Derek Carr this season. That's what I think they'll do. Pick 82, Cowboys are on the clock. I have been taking wide receiver KJ Hill. They did re-sign Amari Cooper, but I don't think they have the most most depth at receiver, especially now that they lost Randall Cobb. KJ Hill's pretty solid, so they'll be happy to get him at this point in the draft. With the 83rd pick, I have the Denver Broncos taking safety Kyle Duggar. The Broncos really need a safety. They need help on the secondary. And Duggar's a very solid safety. I could see him going in the second round. But here I have him being taken in the third. Pick number 84, I have the Rams taking running back Zach Moss from Utah. Moss is a very talented running back, and the Rams, of course, cut Todd Gurley, so they need someone who can be solid for them. I could also definitely see him taking a running back in the second round, but I think they'll be fine with getting Zach Moss here. Pick number 85, the Detroit Lions are on the clock. I have them taking Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. Their two best receivers their contracts are both ending next year, and they just need more help on the receiver behind Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. They need some help. Pick 86, I have the Buffalo Bills taking wide receiver Antonio Gandy-Golden. I know they just traded for Stephon Diggs, but the Bills do not have a tall receiver. Diggs is one of their tallest receivers, and he's 6 foot tall. Gandy-Golden is 6'4", so that's the only reason why I think they'll get him. Patriots at pick 87, I have been taking Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts will be a starter, but he could maybe see some playing time. I don't know. Pick 88, I have the Saints taking safety Ashton Davis. Ashton Davis could go higher than this, maybe even early second, but there's just a lot of safeties that I think there's a lot of solid safeties in this class, and I think eventually Ashton Davis will be taken behind some of the other ones, but this is still a good pick for the Saints. Ashton Davis is very talented. Vikings at pick 89 taking Amik Robertson, the cornerback. I haven't had them taking a cornerback yet. Cornerback is one of their biggest positions of need, and Amik Robertson is probably, I would say he's the best available in this situation. Pick number 90, Texans on the clock. I've been taking Leki Fotu from Utah, the defensive tackle. They just need help on the defensive line, in my opinion. And he's pretty solid. He'll probably be a backup. Pick 91, I have the Raiders taking Anthony Gordon, the quarterback from Washington State. In my first mock, I had the Raiders taking Jordan Love at pick 19. I don't think they'll take a quarterback that high, but I definitely think they will take a quarterback probably in the first 3 rounds. And Anthony Gordon, I think they prefer Anthony Gordon over some of the other players that are still available, so that's why they take him. Pick 92, Ravens on the clock, and I've been taking running back Cam Akers from Florida State. Cam Akers is very good. I've watched some of his film and stuff. He's very, very good. And they do have Mark Ingram, but Mark Ingram is 30 years old. He's not going to be around forever. Cam Akers, he'll be a solid backup for them. Pick 93, I have the Titans also taking running back A.J. Dillon from Boston College. The Titans, they do have Derrick Henry, of course, who's arguably the best running back in the NFL. But they don't really have a solid backup for him. And if he is getting the carries that he was getting in last season's playoffs, Derrick Henry, if he's getting those types of carries, they're going to need a backup because that is a lot of carries, really. They're just relying on him. So they get someone else to give the ball to. Pick 94 of the Packers taking tight end Albert. I'm just going to call him Albert O. But he's a very solid tight end. I really like him. From Missouri. He didn't have as good season this year after Drew Lock left, but he's still solid. Pick 95, I have the Broncos taking linebacker Jordan Brooks from Texas Tech. The Broncos, they have a few needs. I really think that other than a wide receiver early, they're just going to try and do some stuff on their defense, try and improve there. Jordan Brooks will help out at linebacker. Pick 96, I have the Chiefs also taking a linebacker. I'm taking Akeem Davis-Gaither, from Appalachian State. He's pretty solid. He probably won't play much this season, but pick 97, the Browns, another linebacker. I'm taking Logan Wilson from Wyoming. I like Logan Wilson. He's pretty solid. The Browns should be happy to get him. Pick number 98, Patriots are back on the clock. I'm taking wide receiver Lynn Bowden from Kentucky, Lynn Bowden Jr., because I think they need a receiver to help out whoever's going to be playing quarterback. Bowden can also return kicks. He can run. He can even throw. They can just, he will be great in Bill Belichick's offense. And I think Bill Belichick's just going to have a lot of fun with him on the team. Pick number 99 of the Giants taking safety, Terrell Burgess from Utah. Another safety going off the board. Burgess is also solid. Like I said, there's some good safety in this class, but a lot of them are going to fall. And the Giants, they have Jabril Peppers. They'll get someone to pair him up with possibly in the future in Terrell Burgess. Patriots back on the clock at pick 100. I'm taking defensive tackle James Lynch. They do need help at defensive tackle, and I really like James Lynch from Baylor. I think he's solid. Pick 101, the Seahawks are on the clock, and I'm taking interior offensive lineman Solomon Kinley from Georgia. The Seahawks, really, what I think they have to do is just their offensive line, because their offensive line is not good, and they need a lot of help on this offensive line, and Solomon Kinley is pretty solid. Pick number 102, the Steelers. I've been taking defensive tackle Larrell Murchison from NC State. They lost Javon Hargrave. They're gonna need help at defensive tackle. He's not gonna start. Probably not. He's not gonna start, but he's gonna help out. Pick 103, the Eagles. I've been taking Sadiq Charles from LSU, the offensive tackle. They lost Jason Peters after a long time this offseason, so they're going to need someone on the offensive line. He'll probably not start, but just because of how many injuries the Eagles get, we never know if he will get some game time. Pick 104, the Rams. I've been taking edge Jabari Zuniga from Florida. I really like him. I think he's very talented, and he could bring some pressure for the Rams this season. Pick 105, I have the Vikings taking an interior offensive lineman, Logan Stenberg from Kentucky. They're going to need to protect Kirk Cousins. He's probably not going to play, but they need help at that position. And then with the final pick in the third round, I have the Ravens taking edge Alton Robinson from Syracuse. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I still think he's pretty good, and I think the Ravens will like him. And edge is a position that the Ravens could use a little bit of help at, so this pick makes a lot of sense. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. The draft is tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'll be trying to get another video out tomorrow. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.